Now I'm going to look at some of the challenges that our students face. Primarily, our students have limited opportunities for incidental learning, in that they are not overseeing and overhearing their parents, their siblings, their peers, reading, writing, making out shopping lists, all of those activities that occur on a daily basis. Our students also do not hear the language in stories being read if they have hearing impairments. And for a lot of our students who are medically fragile, medical interventions often take precedence over other learning opportunities, which include literacy. Students also have a delayed concept development due to these lack of early literacy experiences because of motor impairments, visual impairments, hearing impairments, health issues, and behavioral issues. Another challenge that our students face is the limited exposure of stories being read aloud. They have limited opportunity for reading time. They have limited access to accessible print materials, such as dual media books, books in Braille, auditory books, tactile books. In addition, students and parents often have limited sign language capabilities to communicate a story that's being read in a storybook. Communication strategies that teachers utilize when reading stories are often hard to replicate at home. In other words, tactile books, using objects to communicate a story are not done, and it's often not seen as a priority for children that are small. For lack of motivation, we can look at it a couple of different ways, for the child, for the parents, and for teachers. For the child, they may see no value in books or reading. It just may not be something that they are motivated by or find as an interesting thing to do in their free time. So for that, we might look at considering music, sounds, books with flip-ups, tactile components, and movement. For parents, it's hard because you may not get enough feedback from the child or response from the child when you're reading stories to them. They also may not think that the child is enjoying this time, because it's often a time that parents of typical children take to bond and to, before bed as a routine. So if that's not seen as an enjoyable time, it just doesn't happen. And for teachers, it can be very time-consuming to make materials that are appropriate for all of the students in your class. That you could have a class with students who are primarily blind. You could have a student who is primarily deaf, or you could have a student who's totally deafblind and with other multiple disabilities. And that can be very challenging when you are trying to create materials and books that are accessible to everyone. The next slide shows some pictures of some motivating books. And some of the components I've talked about, the tactile component, the auditory component, and the movement and flip-ups are examples